Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to A.O.S Group. Here we talk about everything related to language studies. If you want to actually learn the French language, the Spanish, German, or even perfect your English language. Likewise, we assist you to prepare for internationally recognized language tests like IELTS, TOEFL, TEF Canada, or TCF Canada. And if you are in the process of working on your visas or migration to countries like Canada, Australia, UK, we can also be of assistance to you on that level. Today, we are going to actually be taking another Q&A sessions, just like we have always been doing. And as you know, we are always scheduled to start these sessions um, by 3 p.m. West African time or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you have any questions as regards today's topic, then kindly drop it in the comment section or in the chat section of this video. Now, today we want to actually take the question 187, and the question was more of a comment, but we could derive a question from it. And the person said, visa approval with no proof of funds. So, in other words, the person is asking, is it possible to get one's Canadian visa approval without having proof of funds, or is it possible to get approved for a particular Canadian visa, be it a study permit, the work permit, the permanent residency, or the visitor visa or temporary residency visa, without necessarily having proof of funds. So the question was asked by Peris Gichuhi or Gichuhi. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that wrong, from Ireland. And as you know, our questions are always extracted now from the Make Money and Migrate to Canada in 2023 webinar Q&As. Now, before I start up, as I do always say most times, I'm not a licensed Canada immigration consultant. I don't even consider myself as a travel agent. I just use this medium to actually give useful information to people who really needs it, based on my own experiences. So none of what I say here can be considered as an advice for you to actually go through. However, if you want to really know more about what successful immigrants like I and others have actually done, then you can stick around to learn more of the strategies we have used. Now, that being said, typically a Canadian visa, it is unlikely for you to get a Canadian visa approved, do you understand, without sufficient proof of funds. Most times, people always have that limitation for the limitation of not having enough funds in their account, do you understand, to serve as their proof of funds. And without you having it, you will not be able to actually qualify or become eligible for that major requirement for most Canadian visas, be it the visitor visa, the study visa, or work permit, you understand, or the even permanent resident visa. So you have to note that when you are applying for a Canadian visa, you are required to not just have proof of funds, you are required to show evidence that you have enough funds to support yourself and your family if you are going together with your family during your stay in Canada. For those that are going temporarily, then your stay in Canada may range from a few days to a few months or a few weeks or even a few years. So, and for those that are going permanently, then at least they will have to stay there for 5 years if they are willing, or 3 years before they even become citizens. So, you have to show that the amount of funds that you have, you understand, based on the purpose of your visit and the length of your stay, you understand, and your intended activities while in Canada is able to sufficiently cater for you. Because if you are unable to show sufficient funds, sufficient, you understand, money as your proof of funds, there is much more likeliness of your visa application getting denied. Do you understand? And because the reason many people don't know that the reason for you to tender proof of funds is for you to be able to show the Canadian authorities that you have satisfied, you understand, the financial requirements that they need, so that you don't become a financial burden to the Canadian social assistance system. Because you need to note that if you are to move to Canada, whether be temporarily or permanently, then you have to rest assured, or you have to put them on a kind of guarantee, yes, so to speak, that you will not become a financial burden to the so-called free education, free medicals, free social systems or social assistance systems of Canada. You understand? And it is always important, it's always even recommended that you have to provide all the proof of fund documents that would show that yes, you are quite eligible for that particular successful visa application. Now, even though we have said that yes, it's not possible for you to move to Canada without having enough proof of funds, there are still some visas that we know about that if you actually process them, you understand, you could get reduced proof of funds like the Rural and Northern Pilot Program or the Provincial Nominee Program for some programs, not all of them, or even the International Experience Canada Program, based on, you understand, the kind of sub programs or the sub requirements of each of those programs. So you may have to pay lesser than, like for instance, even Quebec skilled worker program will require you to pay lesser proof of funds or to have, you understand, lesser proof of funds in your account. You're not going to pay it to the Canadian bodies. You just have to show it that you have it handy. You understand? Because that proof of fund would actually cater for your living expenses, you understand, your accommodation in Canada, and any other groceries, you understand, utility bills, amenities you are going to have to pay for while you are there in Canada during your stay. You understand? So you have to show, if even if it is not the federal government proof of funds. And that reminds me, for this year 2023, there has been a slight increment on the proof of funds for those who are actually going to Canada, be it as a temporary resident or as a permanent resident. You understand? Especially for those under the express entry or the provincial nominee programs, there have been a slight increase. So you can actually go on the um, official website of Canada, you understand, to actually check the current proof of funds now based on, you understand, based on the increments. It has just been a slight increase, you understand, for most people. It's not really that we won't consider it to be that much if you already have your your required proof of funds before. So you can go on that link we actually shared now, the Canadian the canada.ca.e/en /immigration refugee citizenship service immigration Canada express entry documents proof of funds web page. It shows in detail all the amounts that were slightly updated, you understand, based on the news that we got last month. I think that was April 25, 2023, and how much it was increased per family member that will be accompanying you to move to Canada. So, as I was saying, there are still other ways. For some people, for instance, that don't even have any proof of funds, any amount to actually show, you could get work offers, job offers, and actually travel freely to Canada or travel at a very much reduced rate. Take, for instance, if you have a very good job that actually states in their job offer letter that they would cater for your accommodation, so to speak, when you get there, then you may not need to actually show a lot of proof of funds or a lot of money as proof of funds in your account. Likewise, if you have a kind of contract agreement or a letter from your employer, your Canadian employer, stating that the annual income that you're going to be receiving is more than the proof of fund, is either equal to or more than the money that you are meant to bring as proof of funds, then you may actually be traveling freely if you don't actually have money for the proof of funds. Likewise, if the company that is actually trying to employ you from overseas is a company that wants to actually cater for your travel expenses, so you can actually get such employers to pay for your flight ticket, to pay for every other thing as regards your traveling expenses. So I hope that answers the question of no proof of funds. One way you could do it, which is the last way we talked about, is for you to secure a valid job offer, not a scam offer. You understand? Not one that is asking you to pay one certain amount of money. So you have to really be careful when you are seeking for jobs online. Be careful on the kind of agents and the kind of, you understand, offers you get. Once you see that they are asking you money for proof of funds or asking you money for a particular job, then be wary of such opportunities. So I hope that concludes it and you got value from this. If you did, please kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit on the notification bar to get notified anytime we drop a content, like and share this video with your friends and with your family. And you have, if you have any other questions apart from this, then you can drop it on the like section, on the comment section, on the chat section, and we would do justice to it another time. So thank you very much, and go have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now.